Welcome back to ADHD Whiskey. My name is Matt, and today is 1 Ounce Wednesday. On 1 Ounce Wednesday, I take a sample that I've received from a viewer or a patron or a friend or an enemy or a frenemy, and I pour that sample into a glass and I swirl it and then I review its ass. I would say it's a pretty easy concept, and I'm so happy that you clicked on this video. If you don't like me so far, just wait. I get worse. Today's pour for 1 Ounce Wednesday came to me by a brilliant young gentleman who looks and sounds a lot like JJ Redick. His name is Cam, and he has a YouTube channel called Drums and Drams. If you're not already subscribed to Drums and Drams, I definitely recommend going over to his channel, hitting the subscribe button, and listening to his soothing, super sweet voice. He's a great dude, very knowledgeable, and he's just charming. He's a charming young man. And my mother is in love with him, which is weird, but I've accepted it. Today's pour, thanks to Cam, is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch 11. Pirate-shaped bottle from 2016. America. This Elijah Craig Barrel Proof comes in at 139.4 proof. Just like today's versions of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, this bugger carries a 12-year-old age statement. Heaven Hill Distillery, barrel strength, non-chill filtered, uncut, and unbelievable. If you don't know this about me, here's a quick little story. I love Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. The end. Told you it was quick. I love Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I love it. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof is the barrel proof bourbon that got me to love barrel proof bourbon. But the oldest Elijah Craig Barrel Proof I've ever had was from 2017. I have never had a pirate bottle shaped Elijah Craig Barrel Proof before. Never tried it, but I've heard tremendous things. I'm super excited to see if this Elijah Craig Barrel Proof from 2016 is the cat's pajamas, the bug's mug, the kitty's titty, the dog's hog. Nosing time. Time to nose this bourbon from 2016. Ooh, whoa. Whoa. What the heck? What in the heck? There's a little bit of a dustiness on this. This has got a little bit of a dusty nose to it. What in the world? I was not expecting that. What in the heck? If you've ever had what people consider to be a dusty bourbon, like an old Wild Turkey from the 80s, or like an old Grandad from the 80s, like the National Distiller stuff, there's a note on those bourbons that people consider to be the dusty note. It's like a dusty funk. There's like a little bit of unique scent and flavor to it that really kind of separates vintage bourbon from modern bourbon. And I had no idea that this 2016 12-year-old Elijah Craig would have that note. But it does. I'm so intrigued by that. I wasn't expecting that. There's like a little bit of prune, a little bit of date, slight raisin, super dark mushed fruits. If you mixed those dark fruits that I just mentioned with a bunch of alcohol and then sent it back in a DeLorean to the 1970s and then sent it back to me today in 2022, that's what it smells like. Who's got the funk? It's got the funk. Who's got the funk? It's got the funk. I had no idea what to expect, and now I'm super excited to taste it. So, time to put this bourbon inside my body. Cheers, all. Down the hatch. Whoa. Wow. Woo. Woo. Wow. Well, that's certainly 139.4 proof. I don't know why I wasn't expecting it to mule kick me in my dangler in the back of my throat, the epididymis, but I underestimated it. I underestimated it a little bit. My epididymis is just swinging back and forth like a heavy bag hit by a Ford F-350. It's good though. That's good. Let me take a second sip and hopefully get some more flavors out of it. Little sip this time. Wow. Good grief. Wow. Whew. That is a potent, powerful, pontificating, playful, pragmatic paleontologist of a pour. That's ridiculous. The nose is tremendous. I get a little bit of that dusty note on the palate, but the dusty note is kind of like overtaken by aggression and anger. This is an angry beverage. It's an angry beverage that makes me so happy. My happiness is reliant on your anger, Elijah. And I'm super happy you're so upset, because damn, I love it when you're mad. If you've only had recent Elijah Craig barrel proofs, this thing is 100% different. So in 2017, they changed the bottle from the old pirate-shaped bottle, which was badass, to the current bottle that looks like, I don't know, like a chess piece. Kind of looks like a glass chess piece that can only move in stupid directions. If you've never had a pre-2017 Elijah Craig barrel proof, then I recommend definitely trying them. This is the only one I've ever had. I don't know if this particular batch is special, that it has that dusty note and has like a more vintage flavor profile, but this vintage flavor profile makes me smile for miles and miles. This is tremendous. I'm super happy to try it. I know that it's not available everywhere. It's going to be hard to find, but you will find one in a bourbon bar, I'm sure. Some friends of yours might have one of these bottles, and I'm telling you right now, if you haven't tried it, you definitely need to. Tons of vanilla, tons of raisin and date, prune. Those dark fruits are just prevailing on the palate. It coats the mouth so well. The finish is incredible. That dusty note from the nose transfers to the palate beautifully. This is like a vintage bourbon. A vintage hazmat bourbon. Has Matt ever had a hazmat vintage bourbon? No, not until now. Now Matt has had a damn near hazmat vintage bourbon, thanks to Cameron at Drums and Friggin' Drams. I guess I have to give it a score. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch 11 receives a score from me tonight of 9.4? 9.4? It's definitely one of the best things I've ever had. This is like a mixture of modern bourbon and vintage bourbon with all the dark fruit characteristics that I love, a heavy vanilla extract, and then a proof point that's just gonna blow this giant head off of this enormous body. All those factors factor into an amazing score. An amazing score. My name is Matt, this is ADHD Whiskey, and like I always say, keep your head in the clouds, but your mind on doing things late at night that are productive for the household, but doing them quietly. Because if you're loading the dishwasher at 1:45 in the morning and you drop a plate or something and it wakes up your wife and she comes downstairs and sees you loading the dishwasher, but there's like 12 bottles of whiskey on the counter for other reasons besides drinking, she doesn't know that. She doesn't know. She just assumes that you're shit-faced. And she's like, what are you doing up so late? And you're like, cleaning the kitchen, babe. And she's like, I think you're shit-faced right now. And you're like, no, that doesn't sound like me.